Dr. Steven Zrike, receiver and superintendent for Holyoke Public Schools, recently announced he's stepping down in June after 5 years in the position. He sat down with Carolee McGrath to discuss his time in Holyoke and why he's decided to leave the position.
I felt like this was the right time. I think the district has a strong foundation has been put in place. We've seen a lot of improvements, but it's also time, I think, for another leader to take the district to the next level. I also, with the new Student Opportunity Act and new resources coming that we didn't have, I think it's a good opportunity also for a new leader to work with an amazing team of educators, the most dedicated people that I've seen. And so that factored prominently in my decision. But just as important is my own family. And in Holyoke, it's quite a distance from my home. And I wanted to be sure to, as my children, when I started this job, my children were quite young. As they're in elementary school now, they certainly ask to see their father, and I want to be more present in their lives. And while I absolutely love the work, and I love the work of leading a district like Holyoke, I also need to make sure I balance my family priorities. So those are all factors in a decision that I spent a lot of time. It was not an easy decision, but it was one that I was well thought out.
Tell us a little bit about where Holyoke is in the turnaround plan since the state took over.
So we're in the middle of the second turnaround plan. So we're in year 5, and the second turnaround plan ends at the conclusion of the 21-22 school year, or I'm sorry, the 2021 school year. You know, we have made a lot of progress, but there's a lot of work still to go. And I think the district will continue to be in receivership. There needs to be sustained gains and achievement and growth across many metrics. And I think we've seen improvement on many of those, but not all of those, not to a place that we yet feel that students are getting consistently the experience that they need to have to be successful beyond our schools as they move into college and career opportunities.
Tell us a little bit about the graduation rate and how that has changed, as well as the dropout rate.
Yeah. You know, in 2012, which was before my time, Holyoke was around 50% graduation rate. 4 years ago, it was at just above 60, and now we're at 72%, which is not where we want to be, but is a significant improvement. And dropout, we've more than half the dropout rate over that the same period of time. I'm really proud of the work of engaging our kids, and we've seen higher levels of students coming to school. We've doubled the number of pre-K seats, and even though for 4-year-olds it's not mandatory to come to school, we've seen an increase in our attendance across all grade levels over that period of time. So really proud of the fact that we have more kids in school and engaged in school than we have had over the last 5 to 10 years.
When the decision was made for the state to take over the school system, of course it's going to be controversial. Right. People were pretty upset about it. And here you come into a new job where some people are definitely going to be suspicious, concerned on how you're going to enact this turnaround plan. How difficult was it, and what were some of the changes you made, and how were you able to work with the teachers and administrators who were in place?
Definitely a challenging experience. I will not say I've certainly been humbled by the experience, but I also know that I wasn't a very popular person when I arrived. I've really tried to work hard. I hope I've done it effectively. I think we've made some inroads in building relationships. People ask me, what my experience was and it has been, and I feel like people have treated me with a tremendous amount of respect and have really worked hard. And while it wasn't initially, I know people weren't excited to see me. I really want to credit and I'm very appreciative of the people of Holyoke who really were willing to roll up their sleeves and have rolled up their sleeves on behalf of children. And my experience has been a good one. I'm indebted to people for their willingness under difficult circumstances to embrace a lot of the changes that we put in place.
Well, tell us about some of those changes, because I know you have a dual enrollment program which helps kids on the pathway to college, and I know that's one of the many programs you have. You have dual language at an elementary school. Tell us about some of the highlights.
Yeah, so we've done a lot of work at the high school level with the launch of academies. which were theme-based academies around a particular career focus.
And that's at Holyoke and Dean?
Right across the campuses. We really also tried to rebuild our career technical programming, which had really fallen to dwindle the number of kids. When I first arrived, Dean had just over 100 students, and now we're on our way to doubling and then eventually tripling the number of kids who are in career technical programs. You mentioned early college. We had 18 students 5 years ago who were taking college level courses in high school, and now we have close to 300 students doing that across both campuses. And we're really pushing workforce development. We want students in the workforce around either their shop, at the Dean campus, or the academy that they're attached to. So, and we've now got close to 75 students who are involved as juniors and or seniors in job development placements throughout the community. We want to see that continue to grow. So very, very pleased about that. Around middle school, we've worked really hard to move away from the K-8 model, which we didn't feel was working particularly for our middle school students, and we launched 3 different middle schools, or 2 different middle schools in the STEM Academy last school year. This is its second year, located at the Dean campus, and we also opened a Veritas Prep school, which has a school in Springfield, but they opened another campus in Holyoke to give a focused middle school model that really was directed at making sure that kids had the kinds of experiences that we felt like they were lacking in the middle school, really designed in terms of curriculum, in terms of activities, and supporting teachers so that they were more focused on teaching one grade level, one content area instead of multiple grade levels. And then you mentioned dual language. That was already in place, but we've expanded it. We've grown it at Metcalf School, and then we added another school at Ian White in terms of expanding a program that's been very popular and in demand from the community. We had waiting lists of 80 or so folks for the pre-kindergarten program, and we're wrestling with how much more can we expand because the demand is there, and how do we make sure that it's available to families across all neighborhoods of the city. We also extended the school day after my first year there. And so the elementary day and the middle school day is significantly longer, about an hour longer than it was previously, to give students more time, around their academics and hopefully enrichment. We're trying to build more enrichment opportunities. We have a more developed middle school sports program, which we've grown and doubled in size. We've also developed a more consistent middle school instrumental program. And we're now trying, as a community, we just launched an arts task force to really dive deeper in ensuring that our kids get access to the arts at the elementary middle school level. We have a very robust program at the high school level, but we've inconsistently supported and funded programming in the elementary and middle school grades.
So what do you see as far as where Holyoke continues to need to improve as we go from here once you leave?
Yeah, well, very proud of some of the outcomes in English language arts. We've seen a 4% increase in proficiency rates over the last 3 years of the new MCAS. As you remember, in the middle of this, the MCAS changed. And then at the high school level, with the legacy MCAS, we saw a 7-point increase on the ELA assessment. But while we've seen some improvements in English language arts, I'm concerned about outcomes in math. Been much more flat. There's been very small bumps. We have a lot of work to do in that area. I want to see more. I would like to see more sustained academic achievement, particularly in mathematics. I want to make sure that we build out more of our enrichment programs. Also, our social studies and science curriculum, I think, has work to do to be more consistent and provide stronger resources for teachers. I would also like to I think our social emotional supports for students, we've made a lot of inroads around, we've increased counseling, particularly at the high school level. We've now just launched some supports for students who struggle with acute mental health issues. But there's more work to be done to ensure that our schools and our teachers are better equipped to support students who come to us with a wide variety of having experienced trauma, mental health challenges, and we want to make sure that they can access learning in school. So that's an area that, we need more work on as a school district. Certainly the middle school building project, which we'd like to, we continue to engage with the school building authority, and I'd like to have a plan put in place so that while the voters didn't support the two-building model proposal, I want to make sure that there's a plan in place that the community can get behind, and that the city has the resources to properly fund, so our kids get the facilities that they need to be successful as well. So, those are just some of the areas. There's a tremendous amount of work to do, and I don't think anybody thought that it would be done anywhere close to done in 4.5, 5 years.